Are there any questions from the brothers or sisters? And if not, تفضل يا أخي.
So if let's say someone were to move to a new city for the purpose of moving into a new home, when should they stop combining the prayers? Like when do they lose the traveler status? Is that as soon as they get to the new city, or is there a couple of days?
Question says, with regards to someone who moves into a new city, a new town, a new house, when do they lose their traveler status? As soon as you have that house, you're no longer a traveler. When you have the house and you plan to move in, you're not a traveler anymore. You bought the house, but you're renovating it, so on and so forth. You're not actually living there yet. That's one thing. But you actually have the house and you stay there, you plan on staying there, you're no longer a traveler. You're now in a muqim in that place. And Allah knows best.
Question from online mentions AM from Springfield, Virginia. George Mason University. Dear Mufti, great to have you back. May Allah protect you and your family. Questioner says, I say the Shahada before sleeping every night. Is this a bid'ah?
Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah fik akhi or ukhti. This is a bid'ah to say the Shahada before you go to sleep every night. That what you should do is make the prophetic narrations, the prophetic supplications before you sleep. Whatever you find of the authentic prophetic traditions before sleeping, that is what you should do every night on a constant basis. As far as reciting the Quran, listening to the Quran, saying the Shahada from time to time, there's nothing wrong with that. But the specific way of you keep doing the adhkar, the dhikr for sleep, the supplication of sleep, should be that which the Prophet ﷺ specifically legislated. What's important is, my advice to every single Muslim, is to take Hisnul Muslim, Fortress of the Muslim, and just make that your goal. Say to yourself, I'm not going to do any supplication, I'm not going to say anything, eat, sleep, drink, car, except for in this book for a year. Do that. Memorize that book. Practice and do every single supplication in that book. That's more than enough to keep you busy as a layman Muslim. One of the most important things before sleep is Sayyidul Istighfar. That's the most excellent manner of al-Istighfar, in which affirms Allah Azza wa Jal as your Lord and your deity of worship. Allahumma anta rabbi la ilaha illa anta khalaqtani wa ana abduka wa ana ala ahdika wa ila akhir al-hadith, to the end of the narration. Wallahu a'lam. Tafadhal Ahmed.
Sometimes like in Islam, Muslims, like for when it's like, it says like if there's a wind outside, it mentions like 2 du'as. Do we read both of them or one?
With regards to a time in which there are 2 du'as in one chapter, should we mention both of them or just mention one? You have the option. If you want to just do one, switch it up, that's fine. If you read both of them, you said both of them, inshallah, la bats as well. Allahu alam. Fadil.
In the case that we have to make salah and it's approaching the time of the next salah, should we like rush our salah, try to make it as short as possible, just in hopes that we complete it before the time for the next salah comes in, or should we pray as per usual?
With regards to lack of time, a prayer is about to go out, another prayer is about to go in. Should you rush the salat or should you pray as normal? Depends on how much time you have. So let's say hypothetically, it's 2 minutes or 10 minutes. If you have 10 minutes, then pray as you normally would. 2 minutes, then bid'nai ta'ala, I would say perhaps it's best to make the bare necessities for that prayer to be valid. The bare necessities. Don't say this 3 times, only recite this, only wahakadha. But we have one problem. And that is, that's very, very relative with regards to a minute or 2 before the prayer going out. And Allahu Alam, is that even possible to have that type of pinpoint accuracy with regards to the salat time, with regards to minutes, when we start talking about a prayer schedule? That's going to be relative. But for argument's sake, we live in America, we live in Canada, we go off of the timetable. Let's not make ijtihad when it's good, and no, stick to the timetable. So if you have a minute left, you wake up or you get whatever happens to you, 2 minutes left, make the salat and at least try to get 1 rak'ah in before the actual 2 minutes is over. Wallahu alam.
This was SR from Bradford, UK. It's everything that occurs in my qadr.
Is everything what?
That occurs in my qadr.
Nothing happens in Allah's universe except that He knows about it, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Azza wa Jalla has informed us. He created everything. فَقَدَّرَهُ تَقْدِيرًا. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He made everything taqdeer. Wallahu alam. Anything that happens, except it's in a what? في كتاب many من قبل أن طيب تفضل. Next question. Al-Muhim, everything that takes place in this world is from Allah's decree.
Abu Hafsa, Assalamu alaikum, from Houston, Texas. How do we interact with the Shia Muslims, particularly at work? Do we return salams?
With the Shia Muslim at work, how do you return salams? There's two ways of looking at it. First is professionalism. You got to be professional with anybody at work because your work is not an Islamic state. Your work is not Dar al-Hijrah. It's not Medina. It's work. So you have to be professional with a Jew, a Christian, an uncovered woman, anybody. Hello, how you doing? Thank you. You don't have to brown nose. You don't have to sit and laugh and joke and talk about the game and this and that. Come over to my house. We have a few cold ones with the fellas. No. But a basic level of simple professional respect. That's it. Don't sit around them when they gossip and they talk about women and they talk about this and that. Don't sit around none of that negative stuff. But make sure that you're generally positive, professional, and respectful. Whatever their faith, sexual orientation, whatever it is, it's a co-worker. That's number one. Number two, if it's a Shia Muslim and they give you the salams and you feel like you can talk to them and give them da'wah and perhaps advise them, then that's what you should do. That's what you have to do. Try to be gentle with them. And that's because the average Muslim today, not all, but the overwhelming majority of average Muslims, they're just practicing Islam, just going with the flow. They really don't know why or how. We start talking about inherited Islam. I was born a Muslim. My parents are from this country. It's the average Muslim today. They really don't know what's going on. And they're just following what they were upon. Shia, my family's from this country. They're from Pakistan, Shia, or from South Africa or Nigeria or Lebanon. وهكذا. As far as someone who does know and has doubts and all types of different problems and things, then that's a different story. Don't deal with them. Don't deal with them. If they're claiming and fighting and arguing and they have different beliefs of kufr and shirk, then you don't have to give them the salams. You can tell them hello as a co-worker, not salams as a Muslim, if they have aqidah of kufr and shirk. Wallahu alam. Tfadal.
What do we say to the brothers that say, if you're not a muqallid, then you're following your nafs?
Question says, what do you say to brothers who say if you're not a muqallid, then you're following your nafs? I mean, it's a yes and a no answer. No doubt. If you're not blindly following something, then it's a big possibility that you are following your desires. اتبعوا ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم ولا تتبعوا من دونه أولياء. Allah told us to follow what He sent down, His revelation. So if you're not following Muhammad's message, then you're following your nafs. So that's one aspect. The no part, a Muslim who says if you don't follow a madhab or a dawah or a tariqah or a minhaj, then you're following your nafs. Then we say no, هذا كلام مرفوض. That speech is rejected. And the only one whose speech is to be absolutely taken and submitted to and implemented to the T without questioning or asking is Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Nobody else. Not Abu Bakr, not Umar, not Uthman, not Ali, not Imam Ahmed, not Ibn Taymiyyah, Bin Baz, Uthaymeen, Albani, anybody else. And their word is an absolute way of life from A to Z. Rather, this doesn't even exist among the traditional schools of thought. You study Hanafi fiqh, you follow Hanafi fiqh, you're not following just Abu Hanifa's view. It's a school of fiqh, a collection of opinions and views and principles. There is no one man that you're following to the T. Everybody understand this? Besides Muhammad alayhi sallam. That's incorrect Islamically. And many people, they try to force taqleed upon others. It depends. You're studying systematically, that's one thing. you have a specific fatwa, that's one thing. Living in America, which is a multicultural mixing pot, it's a different story. It's a different story. But to impose upon other Muslims a way or madhab or view and attack them and say that they're following their nafs because they don't follow their view, that's not the way of an intellectual. Because I can say you're following your nafs for following this way. Yeah, Hanafi, I'm Shafi'i. Shafi'i is better. Malik is better. Ahmad is better. It never ends. It never stops. Wallahu alam.
SWRB, Stuart Mason from UK. I'm guessing that means Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My question is, can I go into a contract for a taxi? I pay a fixed amount for the taxi for 5 years. After this, I have the option to either give back the vehicle or buy it at the market rate. Is this allowed? Is this contract allowed?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you make a contract to rent out, they rent out the car to you. And then after you finish your the agreed time, 5 years, based on what you agreed to pay, you have the option to buy it at the normal rate without any extra fees or to give it back. If it's with this simplicity and transparency, la bas. There's nothing wrong with that. Allah knows the best.
And this was AA from Brooklyn, New York. Is a woman sinful if she is not able to make up her fast before the next Ramadan due to being pregnant and would only have 6 weeks after delivery to make up her fast, but she'll be breastfeeding?
Hopefully she's not sinful, inshallah ta'ala. If she has the ability to make up, then do it. If not, then she should feed every day that she missed a poor Muslim. We've explained this issue in some type of detail, many places. And hopefully, bid'nillahi ta'ala, before Ramadan comes again, we'll explain it in more detail, inshallah ta'ala, again, and make a separate video just on the one issue of breastfeeding. Please go back to the playlist that we did on fasting 2 years ago at Masjid Al-Ansar.
Abdul Qawi from South Jamaica, Queens, New York, USA. Can you pray behind someone who states that they believe in reincarnation?
Don't pray behind anyone that you have doubt about their Islam. If you have doubt about their Islam or certain that they're saying that's really wrong and erroneous, don't pray behind them. There are many masjids, many centers, many places to pray like we just took tonight. Pray wherever you are. Don't pray behind anyone that you have doubt about. Allah knows best. Tafadal.
In New York, and especially I've noticed this throughout the United States, the issue on halal meat.
Okay.
Some people are of the opinion that machine slaughtered, it's okay to eat, say Bismillah, eat.
Okay.
From what I've read and from what different ulama tells me, that's incorrect. It's supposed to be hand slaughtered.
Okay.
So, you know, what's the proper? And then they claim that it's okay we eat the meat of the Al Kitab, but
Clear.
Ulama said that in this day and age, it's permissible to eat from the meat of the Al Kitab if it's believing Al Kitab. Where will you find the believing Al Kitab?
Tayyib. With regards to meats in New York City or America or Western countries or even in Middle Eastern countries, it's a problem even in Saudi Arabia. Hardee's, McDonald's, Domino's, the meat is imported, etc. From India, from Belgica, wherever, okay? What is the ruling on these types of meats? Hand slaughtered, machine slaughtered, Ahlul Kitab, believing Ahlul Kitab, etc. Me personally, to summarize things, like we've explained, we did an extensive class on this, a playlist. I don't believe it's permissible to eat the mass-produced meat that the people say is Ahlul Kitab. Whether it's Pizza Hut or Domino's or Burger King, whatever. I don't believe that that's permissible. I don't believe that that's halal to eat. Okay, and I believe that it's permissible to eat the meat of Ahlul Kitab with conditions. And one of those conditions is that they have to slaughter the animal properly. And it's not so much about the religion, which the people get caught up on, but the proper slaughtering of the meat. The proper slaughter. If it was a Muslim who slaughtered an animal incorrectly, it's haram. And if it was a Jew or Christian who slaughtered the meat properly, then it's halal. The issue of believing Al-Kitab, not believing Al-Kitab, that's a very long discussion. Because there are all types of sectarianism among the Jews and the Christians. Many principles and practices were existed in the Prophet's time to this day. Okay? But that's a very long discussion. So the best thing to avoid that problem is to eat the meat that is halal. That's grade A. If you can't find it, then at least kosher. That's a discussion, but it's closer than just a normal Ahl Kitab is McDonald's. Are they Christian? Is it even valid to say that America is a Christian country? That's a long discussion. Idols, Satanism, paganism, the Illuminati, devil worship, idols everywhere. That's a long story. Masonry, it's a very long discussion. What's important is anyone who has any type of basic common sense knows the way of mass slaughtered meats. There is no person, there is no Bismillah, there's just a machine. And oftentimes the machine doesn't do it properly. Knocking the animal senseless, first and foremost. Hanging the animal, electrocuting the animal, shocking the animal, freezing the animal to death. Things like this. So I don't think a Muslim should enjoy in those types of meats, those sandwiches, burgers, and those things like this. But at the same time, I don't force my view upon others. And if there is a student of knowledge or a scholar who has the view that it is permissible, based off of the generality and this and that, then that's his view. And I don't argue with those people and force my view upon them. If I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I order something, and the brother orders a turkey bacon croissant. This is a reality. It happened. I didn't say anything, right, Saleh? Because those brothers were students of knowledge. They came from the land of ulama. That's their view. I didn't need it, though. You see what I'm saying to you? My children, if they're with me, I give them the food that I eat. If there were other family members and relatives, I can't force my way on them. And Allah knows best. That's in brief, Sheikh. Sama.
Can you eat an animal that's slaughtered properly but nothing is set upon it?
Can you eat an animal that's slaughtered properly but nothing is set upon it? The scholars of Islam, they differ on the tasmiyah, saying Bismillah. Is it obligatory or is it a shart? If it's a prerequisite and someone forgets it or doesn't do it, then I'm like you're praying without wudu. If it's obligatory, forgets or whatever, that's a different issue. Allah knows best. So it's a very long discussion with regards to the kalam Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi regarding the Christians, even if they say the name of Isa, and things like this. Very long discussion. Wallahu alam. Ahmed.
Did the Prophet have a list of all the munafiqeen or just like some?
Did the Prophet ﷺ have a list of all of the munafiqeen or just some of them? It's mentioned that he was given their names and he was told about them. Wallahu alam. Tafadal Nafis.
Initials YM from Mumbai, India. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. My question is, can we take part in a tournament? The competition is of table tennis, where every contestant gives 100 rupees, and winner is given winning amount in college.
Tayyib, that type of, or this type of tournament should not be, you should not participate in this. And what you put down money, and it's a possible gain, but a definite loss. The scholars of Islam, they say this is the basic definition and the basic concept of gambling. Al-qimar. Giving something for sure, and possible gain. They said this possible gain, definite loss. That should be avoided. And Allah knows best.
Sure. There's sometimes people have a tournament, like let's say a basketball tournament, and everybody's participate $5.
That shouldn't be done. That should not be done. In which the people are putting in money and only one person takes it. That should not be done. And Allah knows best.
Initials AN from London. Assalamu alaikum. My question is the voice of a woman considered an awra in front of non-mahram men?
I don't consider the voice of a woman to be an awra as long as it's her normal, regular voice. If she starts softening and sweetening her voice, perfuming her voice and saying certain things in a certain way, then perhaps it can be an awra. The normal, basic voice of a woman, I don't consider to be an awra with those ulama, meaning I don't consider from among the ulama's speech. From the speech of the people of knowledge, I don't consider that view to be strong. And Allah knows best. We will stop here tonight. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu wa sallam wa barak. على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا Muhammad. Next class, inshallah ta'ala, will be on Tuesday night by Allah's permission.